All right. Oh, fucking right. This is the second time I'm recording this shit, and I'm gonna try to be straight to the fucking point. So, I want to say three things before I get into it. I'm not sure what the title's gonna be. I'm not gonna hold you. We're gonna figure it out later, because I got three things. I think I got 3 points to hit. Okay? So, recently I seen this video behind Media Man, right? And it was talking about the aspects of welfare, right? And we understand I would hope that you understand the aspects of welfare and how it's a diverse, complex topic. It's not just something that one answer rules them all type of topic. But if you want to talk about percentages of how much what played a part, you know what I mean? I can guarantee you that when it came down to black families being supported by the government, for lack of better words, is this the right way? Yeah, black families being supported by the government, and for better words, I don't think that black men played a significant part in that aspect, because I think that was the whole aspect. Black men wasn't supposed to be there, right? So going back to the the Media Man aspect of it is, Media Man said to the black man that was referring to his video about that welfare situation, right? They was referring to something completely different. They was talking about Claudine or some movie named Claudine. I'm not even talking about that. Okay. I have an issue. So this is the thing I have. This is my issue that I have when it comes to Media Man, right? Because I agree that you should have the numbers, right? You should have the numbers. I always tell you, you got to have your numbers. But I also tell you, context is key. The devil is always in the details, right? The devil is always in the details, because you can have the numbers, but do you know how you got to those numbers? And do you know why you got to those numbers? It's the right questions. It's not always the numbers. It's not always just a question. It's the question that leads to the solution, or the question that leads to whatever salvation that you want to find, whatever that is for you, right? I say all that to say that I don't have an issue with Media Man's numbers per se. I have an issue with how he goes about the aspect of, because this is not just Media Man that I have an issue with. It's also BGS and IMOR, because it's like, again, these are men that are older than me. You know what I mean? They seen the shit. They seen a lot of the shit that we're about to talk about, right? They seen a lot of the adverse reaction to the shit. You know what I mean? They seen family members probably that were involved in that type of lifestyle for black people, because let's keep it above. In America, a lot of people were affected by that whole Ronald Reagan shit. There's a lot of people affected by that shit, right? But we don't talk about a specific story when it comes to Ronald Reagan, and we're going to talk about that at the end. We're going to get to that at the end, but there's a specific part that people are leaving out, specifically black men and black women are leaving out when it comes to the failure. Because my issue is the failure of black, I won't even say it's a failure of black masculinity spaces, right? Because I think that we do need to talk about these. It's good to get that stress out. It's good to talk about it and figure out, okay, how did you get to that information, right? Okay, how did you get to that information? Okay, this is how I got to this data. It's like we are all compiling data from our perspectives to see, okay, what keeps occurring in this? You know what I mean? Like, the medium is the message type shit. Like, what keeps occurring in this shit, right? Feminism, something that we did not create. Incarceration rates, something that we, again, did not create. And government. Now let's talk about the feminism. Let's go into the Media Man situation. So a lot of black men were mad at the aspect of Media Man. Why are you not talking about how much black women played a part in the separations of black families? Stick a pin in that, because Media Man said, what are you talking about? I said that feminism played a part, but they wanted him to go harder. You know what I mean? They wanted him to stress the aspect of how much feminism played a part in it. If you're going to ask my personal opinion, when it comes to that welfare shit, I think that is either one of the two things. Black women were so down. You can't say that they wasn't down for their man back in the day. We are, to this day, we are married at a 30%, 31% to 29% rate. And black women are the lowest. You understand what I mean? I'm sticking a pin in that. the enthusiasm to get married. You understand what I mean? Not saying that black women don't want to get married. It's just that it's not a task that's important. You understand what I mean? It's not that important. School is more important. Sometimes women will have a child by a nigga that they know ain't good. That's more important. That child is definitely more important than marriage. I've literally heard a woman multiple women say they will literally have a child before they get married. They would prefer. That's the preferable choice, is to have a child before they actually go about getting married. Now, I understand it's not right, but I understand the aspects of human taking the easier course, because to be married to a man, you have to be on a man's program. It's not right, but I understand on some Chris Rock shit. I just got to keep it a buck, right? So going back to the medium man shit, medium man says, what are you talking about? Of course, I've talked about feminism. I talked about the incarceration rates, but this is where medium man lost me, because in my past video, I think I talked about the aspect of medium man brought up the aspect of incarceration rates in his video, right? And medium man said, it's just 1%. They're lying to you. They're lying to you. They're lying to you about how bad it is for black people in America, specifically black men. They're lying to you, right? Cool. Just what I told y'all to do. Do your own research. I did my own research because it's just something wasn't clicking. You know why something wasn't clicking? Because yes, the number was 1%. He kept bringing up the 1%, right? It's just 1% of black men that's in jail. It's just 1%. Like, we don't even take up that much of America, right? Context. And what did I say before? What questions are you asking? You got to ask the right questions. So if we understand that this country does what they do to us specifically at a specific rate, meaning put us in jail, specifically black men in jail at a high fucking rate. In the 1960s, it was 100 per 100,000 per capita of black men in jail. Guess what it is now? 2,000 per 100,000, and we are the highest. Black women, 64 at 100,000. White men, 300 to 600, maybe per 100,000. But black men are in jail at a 2,000 per 100,000 per capita. Stick a pin in that. If you know for a fact that black men are over policed in this country, if you know for a fact that black men go to jail for things that they did not do in this country, if you know for a fact that when it comes to domestic abuse, sexual violence, we will go to jail for something that somebody did to us, even when it's something that we did play a part in, like bilateral domestic abuse. Oh, the man going to jail because they go by to that old system of the old law. The old law still works to this day. And if anything, I would say that it's thriving. Again, 1% of black people 1% of black men are in jail. Just 1%. It's not, that's how Medium Man was placing that information to the people. What are you complaining about? It's not that bad. You know what I mean? It's not that bad. They're lying to you about how bad it is. And I said, I was about to write a whole diatribe about Medium Man. How do you say that, but you also understand how we're over policed in our communities? How do you say that and you also understand how much black men are wrongfully accused, wrongfully arrested? You know what I mean? The double speak, it's confusing to me. So again, even when it comes to me, do your own research, ask the right questions, and whatever that is for you, you got to find that shit out for you though, my nigga. You understand what I mean? So again, I respect the fact that he has the numbers, but to BGS's point, I was put a pin in that. So we're going to go on to the BGS thing. BGS said, yeah, he just got numbers, but it's like surface level because anybody could get these numbers. You can go to ChatGPT right now and get these numbers, right? But you also have to ask the right questions on why do these numbers matter and why is it such a hot, like, you know what I mean? If you're giving a comparison, 1960s, the marriage rate, well, speaking of numbers, the marriage rate was 60%. We was neck and neck for what white people damn near 60 to 70. White people was 70. What black people was like 61 to 65. It was one point in time, probably a small time frame where we were actually, the marriage rate for black families were literally above white people in this country, right? This is the 1960s though. What do we have happen in this country all the time when it comes to black families and black success? I'm not going to say black excellence because it reminds me of that nigga Diddy, and ain't nobody got time for that. You feel me? But black success, when it comes to this country, what happens? They move the fucking goalposts. Okay, black men are accelerating here. Okay, we're going to move this shit over to here. Okay, black families are being raised in black homes. Okay, we're going to start redlining. Okay, black women and black men are actually being educated at a very astronomically high rate. Okay, we're going to raise the fucking price in tuition to get into schools. Now, first, it was affecting just us. But we see now that it's affecting everybody, and white people don't like when they start getting affected. They don't like that shit at all. That's why I'm kind of apathetic to the whole thing when it comes to this Trump shit. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm gonna definitely vote when I need to vote, but I am apathetic to the qualms of other people, because it's like nobody gave a fuck until it started affecting them. So it's like, nigga, we been living this fucking survival life. Sorry that y'all just not getting the memo, but yeah, this is how we've been doing, surviving. This is how we've always been doing, surviving. You understand what I mean? But to go to BGS's point, right? Because I don't think that Media Man was pandering, right? But some of those black men believe that Media Man was pandering. I don't think that he was, but I understand the point of view of those men saying that he was, because he wasn't quote unquote getting in the black women's asses, right? I can understand that aspect, because you was to that point, before I go to BGS, to that point of him pandering, right? His response to those black men that were lambasting him in the comment section is, well, since y'all are going to get on me, I'm going to start talking about something that y'all had a part to play in, right? Guess what he brings up, though? The same number that he said didn't matter because it wasn't big enough. It's just 1%. Oh, black men went to jail at a very astronomical rate. The war on drugs? Yeah, that's y'all fault. That's y'all fault. Now, mind you, again, I'm saying, yes, we did have a part to play in it. We still do. We still do, nigga. I was about to be playing a part in that shit. We still do. But going back to living out of survival, it just is what it is. It's not right, but I understand. I understand. You understand what I mean? But that deserves a lens of context of how this country moves when it comes to people that look like me. People that come from where I come from. Not people that look like me, because sometimes they don't even treat black. Sometimes there literally have been schools that have been on record for choosing black immigrants preferably compared to black American people. So again, it's not always skin folk ain't always kin folk. You feel me? Yeah, I just keep it a buck. But to go back to what I was saying before, Media Man brings up the topic of, oh, well, yeah, since y'all want to get on me, y'all wagging your finger inside black men's faces because they getting on your nerves. And he's the main one that talk about you shouldn't let things affect you. It's like it's the double speak, dog. It's like it's confusing as fuck, because it's like, in one hand you say that we shouldn't allow things to affect us, but you're allowing comments to affect you. You know what I mean? To not only affect you, but also wag your fingers and make videos. Because don't get it twisted, you're getting it's monetized, so you're getting money off of this. So it's like, I understand. It's not right, but I understand. I just keep it a buck. That's gonna be probably the title of this video. But he talks about the aspect of black men. You also played a part. Duh. We know that. We know that we played a part in this shit. We do. We hear it all the time. It's not only from black women, but from black men, specifically black men like you. You understand what I mean? That basically try to lambast us, that say that you also had a part in the incarceration rates. We get that already, dog. We get that. But again, I want to see the video. I want to see the video. I want to see what he's going to talk about, to be honest with you. At some point, I'm going to see it. I don't think I'm going to see it too soon, because I need to take a rest off of this shit, to be honest with you. I'm probably going to play some games, because it's like, it's confusing, brother. Double speak, specifically for me, the double speak is the aspect of, you say that you did say feminism, right? But then you get mad at the black men that say that this is what you should have said and whoop-de-doo. And then you say, basically, that it's not that big of a deal. You said that incarceration rates was at an all-time low. Why are we bringing up the lie? You said, your words, the lie that incarceration rates are so bad. You want to go back to that time in the 1960s? Okay. Well, if you want to be honest, the incarceration rates are at an all-time high now compared to what it was before. That's when you can use your point that it's not that big of a deal because it was low, right? That's when you can technically use that because it was lower than it was now, right? How has this country always moved? How has this country always fucking moved? They're going to give you the numbers. How did you get to those numbers? Where did those numbers come from? You understand what I mean? That's neither here nor there. So stick a pin in that, right? We're going to go to the BGS thing. Now, BGS, my issue with BGS, again, these are older men. It's not that I respect everything that they say. I understand the perspective that they have. I take a more of a black masculinist point of view. You know what I mean? Shout out to T. Hassan Johnson. Like, even if their resentment for black women is there, I understand why it's there. I understand, my nigga. I understand. You know why I understand where resentment for black women is there? Because sometimes it's black women that harm those black men. We talk about the aspect of how black mental health, specifically dealing with men, is damn near null and void. There's no real safe spaces, let alone spaces that are being provided by the government when it comes to specifically black men. So when they go to the internet, it's not right, but I understand. Again, I don't encourage that behavior. I want black men to heal. I want them to find ways to express themselves. I got my art. I love my fucking art. It helps me express myself. You understand what I mean? These videos from time to time, it's like video diaries. And whoever watches these, like, I appreciate you for watching them. But truth be told, it's just for me to look back on when I get older. You feel me? You'd be like, damn, that is true. And I wonder if it still stay. Like, this is almost like a timestamp. This is a timestamp. It's a timestamp of history. But BGS, again, an older black man that I have respect for in the sense of he has some data. He knows somewhat of what he's talking about. I say somewhat because I think that a lot of the times our judgment is clouded by our world views. You know what I mean? Which is, again, that's human. We're human beings. That's what we're going to do. We're going to have biases. We're going to have biases. And going back to the biases, I'm not going to hold you. I'm going to go back to Media Man one time. Going back to the biases, right? Media Man said to black men that black men should not deal with women that call men and refer to men as niggas. In the same video, he has a video that he puts up from time to time that is an artist. I forgot the artist name, but he's like some type of pimp artist, right? And I think he rolled with the dog pound type shit. You know where I'm going. But what's the famous word by E40? You feel me? His name say E40. Let's say E40. What's his? Damn, what's his fucking name? The California artist. I say E40. Tell me when to go. Tell me when to go. Tell me when to go. What's his name that be like, bitch? That's my favorite word, bitch. Who that fucking nigga? But yeah, he basically has this artist. It's not him, though. It's not him. It's the one of the dudes from the dog pound. Light-skinned dude. Got a ponytail and everything. He said, yeah, there's women in the world, and then there's bitches. And I just make sure I put these bitches in check, right? And he constantly throwing it up in the video. But in the same video, he says, black men, you should not deal with a woman that refers to men as niggas. Once you see that, you need to throw her to the curb. And I'm like, you see how that confuses black men into thinking that the same black men that you get mad at for lambasting you for your views and saying that you're pandering to women, you're cultivating the men by the visuals of referring to women as bitches, even if it is a joke and jokey and funny shit. Referring to women as bitches in one side of the sound effect, sound clip and shit, because that's probably what he grew up on, right? But he understands the dichotomy. You know what I mean? He understands that you can have that view on music wise, right? But then when you don't want men to deal with a woman that refers to, because I agree with you. I don't really want a woman that refers to most of like us as black men as like most her verbiage of us is niggas. I agree with you. I agree with you. But I just don't understand the double speak. I digress. Let's go to the BGS thing. BGS has a issue with black women. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. I don't know how else to say it. BGS has issues with black women. BGS the type of black man to be like, you are sleeping with the enemy if you are with a black woman. Okay. And again, it's not right. But again, I understand. I'm a black man that's been harmed by black women, that's been sexually harassed by black women. You understand what I mean? Like, I understand. That's been assaulted by a black woman. I understand. So again, these places that these black men that are in these fields, it cultivates a reaction that sometimes even they don't want. You know what I mean? And they feel as though they're not cultivating that, but a lot of the times they are. They're cultivating a lot of that resentment for black women. And even me, even myself, I understand the part that I play in the cultivation of that resentment. But again, it's not right, but I understand. Because we're only human, right? We're only human, and we don't have spaces, government sponsored spaces, especially with this Trump shit, right? That we can go to. We barely trust the therapist. The rate of male, knocking off himself, self-harm is at an all-time fucking high, specifically when it comes to black men compared to black women. It's at an all-time high. I'm not saying that black women don't do that to themselves, but black men, there is a silent killer when it comes to black men, right? I say all that to say, I want to get into the aspect of black families and black laws and policies that lead to black families, lead to the progress and success of black families. Because I went over Medium Man, I went over BGS, right? Now we're gonna go over. Give me a minute. I gotta go get some pizza because that shit smell good even from outside. That shit was good as hell. But I'm giving you context. I'm giving you context to why I feel the way I feel and why I'm about to show you a video at the end. So we first talk about Medium Man, right? And now we're talking about BGS, right? These are both, I'm not sure if you would call them black masculinists. I'm not sure that you call it the black manosphere, the black manosphere. Basically, I say black masculinist, but the black manosphere. And I be hearing people like FD Signifier and Olu. Speaking of Olu fucking Naughty, right? Olu Nonari. She's basically a criminal defense. She's on YouTube. Olu and Friends. You can look her up. She had a topic, right? About the lady Rhoda something. But basically the brick face lady, right? They talk about the brick face case, and Olu, the issue that I have with Olu and her friends, and don't get it twisted, I don't fuck with Poetic Flacco and his views on certain things too. But we're going to talk about Olu and Friends. Olu and Friends, that specific episode, go into detail on how the criminal justice system can be used against Olu, right? But where was that whole dissection of how the criminal justice system can be used against black women when it referred to black men? Even when those black men possibly, we don't know, but possibly could have harmed in certain situations. You know what I'm going to go to, because they were saying, well, whether she did or she didn't, that's not the point right here. What we need to be talking about is the aspect of it's the rhetoric behind these cases that can harm black women. Why is it never the same issues when it comes to cases of black men? You understand what I mean? That's a whole nother bag of worms. But we're going to talk about the issue that I have with Olu, right? Olu has a friend that I just now found out this week is the fucking person, specifically the black woman, that coined the term in referring to black men as bullet bags. Now, to all the black women out there that do deeply despise black men, or at the very least have a low level of contempt, you know what I mean? Wherever you are on that intersectionality of hate against black men, to fix your mouth, even if you are feeling that way, right? To fix your mouth to say that you want the progress of black people, right? And you feel as though the progress of black people sometimes comes with the condemnation of a specific group of black people, right? To fix your mouth to then say, as if you're not a part of that specific group that should be condemned, to fix your mouth and then say that, oh my God, come on, dog. Give me a minute. My bad, yo. But to fix your mouth and then say, right, that black, you say that you want the progress of black people, right? But to fix your mouth and then say that and refer to black men as bullet bags because you were getting lambasted by black men. So you say, just imagine that type of rhetoric from a black man on the other side. Because rightfully so, I think that he deserves everything that he gets after that comment. If he was referred to with black women as bullet bags, I think that he deserves everything he gets. I don't even agree with the shit that some of these black men that died to the hands of black women, right? I mean, died to the hands of white women that had all of that shit that they were saying about black women. Sorry, but you get what you get. It's on some CK shit, not Calvin Klein, if you know what I'm talking about. And this politics right left shit. The CK nigga, you feel me? But you get what you get, right? She's being platformed on Olu and Friends a plethora of times, but don't get it twisted. She don't need them because there's so many black women that support her train of thought when it comes to specifically heterosexual black men. You understand what I mean? And if I want to keep it a whole buck, it's not right. But I understand black women's resentment. I understand that it's going to be a black man that maybe stands in that place when it comes to how much they hate black men. It's because of a black man. I've even seen it because of the lack of a black man causes that resentment. You understand what I mean? Like a daughter has been raised without a father and brother's not really there for her. She probably don't even have brothers. I can even see black women having the rhetoric come out their mouth and referring to black men as bullet bags, because of that. It's not right, but I understand. Because what cultivates this type of culture is the 30% to 29 to 30% marriage rate, the 2,000 incarceration rate for black men compared to the 64,000 for black women. And we are the part of the problem, right? We're always the fucking problem. You know, it's always Jermaine fault type shit, right? On some BGS shit. But I say all that to say that BGS has a deep resentment. He's one of those older black men that be like, you are sleeping next to the enemy if you literally are sleeping next to a black woman. Again, it's not right, but I understand. We have issues in this community. We do. And those issues sometimes are caused by the opposite side. You know what I mean? The opposite sex. But again, to the black folks that actually want black families, to black folks that actually got over that hump of hate and actually prefer to be with a black woman or prefer to be with a black man, this is where I hope you've been staying tuned, because this is the information that I believe that we should be focused on how the history almost like gets a facelift. It's the same shit, but it just gets a facelift because we got Trump in office right now. Right? We got Trump in office. But you can't fucking deny that Trump is just doing what he's not. I think that people think that he's the worst. People really think that he's the worst, but he's doing what every other president has done in the past. Even if it is subtle, he's doing the same. He's deconstructing America. Now, he may be more radical in his deconstruction, but he is specifically deconstructing Black America. So we're going to talk about this video. Now, this is the lady that I want to put y'all on. Again, she may give you numbers. I may give you numbers. BGS may give you numbers. Media Man may give you numbers. Data, points. Look this shit up yourself. That's what I did. That's why I have the views that I have. Because I looked this shit up myself. I said I'm tired of feeling the way that I feel with these numbers that's being, because it don't add up, if that makes any sense. It's not the computers ain't computing type shit. You feel me? It's not calculating. You feel me? The numbers ain't adding up. So This is a thing that came to mind when I was listening to those videos of BGS, to those videos of, they don't even realize that this is actually after, because they don't really talk about what happens after 1960 and 1965. 60 to 65, what happens? Because BGS talked about 1961 and the Monningham report, right? Everybody be talking about the Monningham report. I need to do some more diligence, some more research on the Monningham report. But I think this is the report that need to be talking about. I think that this is the report that we really do need to be talking about, right? And the report goes into, this is Yvette Carnell. If you don't know, Breaking Brown. I need to actually get to her Substack because I want to. She be publishing articles just to make you think about certain shit. You know what I mean? Dope shit to learn. You know what I mean? We need all of this shit, to be honest with you. And some people I can understand how some people think that it's an information overload. It is. But I'd be damned if I be caught lacking. I'm sorry. As much as we talk about information overload, how many times have you been watching TikTok, Instagram, Facebook Reels? What else? What other platforms? Twitter, YouTube, and you just been scrolling, doom scrolling. So you could talk about information overload, but what information are you putting in your head? It's neither here nor there. Let's watch the video.
Read that, but let's go back there for a second because we want to remember that in 1968, it was the Kerner Commission report, which basically said you have to have some kind of redistribution. You have to have massive investment in ADOS communities. There's no other way to do it. You have to have a massive, there is no way out of this without the government investing and doing things and taking a very different track. So the Kerner report comes closest the U.S. ever got.
And this lady right here, she is Yvette Carnell. I thought I was talking and I wasn't talking, and I'm kind of tight that I wasn't talking. But this lady is Yvette Carnell. Now you have BGS, right? You have Media Man, right? And you have Yvette Carnell. Now I'm bringing Yvette Carnell because she goes into the black politics of things, policies that were made specifically for the detriment of black people, and she goes also into other videos of that policies that tried to help or policies that didn't try but just tried to make it seem as though it's a possible solution. Going to her video, which is how we traded reparations for fake black capitalism and propaganda. And the first thing I think about when it comes to fake black capitalism, I'm sorry, I think about Media Man. I think that Media Man thinks that all you have to do is work hard, black man, and worry about yourself and stay focused and stay on your grind. That's another thing that the Kevin Samuels got lost me on. You know what I mean? He thought that we could just basically make it up to the top and we could be looked at as the same as these black folk, as these white people in this country. But then it would be certain instances where even I remember Kevin Samuels giving us lessons on black history and how detrimental specifically black American history was to the black family, right? But then he'll go into detail about how it's like they double speak. They sometimes play the aspect of bootstrapperism, but then they also play in the aspect of America has harmed us. You know what I mean? So it's like if you're going to play in the America and has harmed us, we need to figure out, okay, we need to go to America and be like, all right, we need policies that helps fix this fucking community. And we need policies that keep everlasting policies. You understand what I mean? That protects us. Programs that protects us. Reparations that protects us. You understand what I mean? It comes in different ways, but even Dr. T. Hassan Johnson is talking about reparations in a form of how we speak on these type of topics and sponsoring certain aspects of media, specifically black masculinist media, black manosphere media. You know what I mean? Because we don't really have too much of that. There's a lot of people that basically get into these spaces just to talk shit about black women. There's a lot of people that talk about these black spaces just to talk shit about black men. And they be black men themselves too. You know, the whole black feminists as men. And it just it's tiresome. Again, it's tiresome. It's not right, but I understand. So we're going to finish this. And we talk about reports, right? BGS goes into the Monningham report. One of those reports when it comes to the 1960s and how it referred to the welfare program. But this is the report that I think that we should be focused on. The report that Yvette Carnell is going to be going into in this, what she's
an
reading.
official acknowledgement of its history of racial injustice, spoke to the phenomenon of protests and unrest in America's segregated cities. The final report determined that the riots stemmed from poverty, racism, inequality, and other social ills. But the underlying cause was segregation. Segregation and poverty have created in the racial ghetto a destructive environment totally unknown to most white Americans. The report said, what white Americans have never fully understood, but what the Negro can never forget, is that white society is deeply implicated in the ghetto. White institutions created it, white institutions maintain it, and white society condones it. This was a condemnation of white people. Even if you did not do it, you didn't walk in there with a hammer and a nail and build the ghetto, you benefit from it, and you produced the government that produced the ghetto. And somebody has to eat the failure in this country, and they decided it was going to be us. So the Carnell report is a condemnation. So you're coming out of that. Now, America did what America does. America found a way not to deal with what it does. The thing that you did, you don't want to have justice. We don't want to move in the directions of justice, right? We don't want to move that way. Hit the like, fam, and subscribe if you have not subscribed. Go on and do it. Go on and do it right now. So the Carnell report is, you got to understand, the Carnell report 19 says condemning. 3 years later, instead of saying, yeah, we got to do something, all these people come out. There's a memo that comes out and says, this is how we consolidate power. These radicals have gone too far. The socialists, whoever, everybody, it wasn't just ADOS movement, it wasn't the civil rights movement, other movements too. They've gone too far. We are going to bring them to heel. No, we're not going to do no justice. We're going to deal with disorder. That was the power memo, right? So let me just go here. Now, let me show you what, and this is, I shouldn't go to Nixon just yet, I don't think. Let me go back. Let me go to another part of this article real quick. The Carnell report. The report was an unapologetic.
That's the report I wanted to go to, the Carnell report. But just listen to her.
Apologetic excoriation of white society, which the commission deemed guilty, not just of racism, but of apathy towards black poverty. The only way to address these injustices, according to the report, was through a robust federal response. Nixon won the 1968 election by promising that he would do no such thing. But first, his campaign had to get the messaging right. Alan Greenspan, who served as Nixon's economic advisor, addressed claims by black activists for reparations in a private campaign memo to candidate Nixon in 1978. In 1967, called the Urban Riots of 1960. Of the 1960s. I want you to understand that they have always understood that reparations were owed and that there was a threat and that we were marching towards it. The difference is they did something political to stop it. Reparations were never a pipe dream. They understood that, hey, if these Negroes keep going.
Remember what I said before. I don't know if you remember what I said in the earlier video, that at around that time, the marriage rates for black people were like in the 60s, I want to say. In the 60s or 65 to 67, right? Pretty fucking high compared to what it is right now. I think that it's not even higher than 32, 33 maybe. You understand what I mean? The families were together. It was a lot of black families creating that black success. We were doing pretty fucking good on the road to success within America, but we still had some issues. We did. And we could have been better. We knew that we could have been better. If we didn't, then we wouldn't be fighting the way we was doing in the 60s. Because guess what came in the 60s? Civil rights. It could have been better is what we're saying. I think a lot of black folks got apathetic, and they got a lot of black folks in line when they assassinated two of our people. Not two, but it's a couple of them that they took out, but those two specifically around that time. I'm going to go back to the video.
If these Negroes keep moving at the direction that they moving in, we're going to have something to deal with, right? we're gonna have some stuff that we can't message ourselves out
address.
of. So Alan Greenspan, who served as Nixon's economic advisor, addressed claims by black activists for reparations in private campaign memo to the candidate Nixon in 1967 called The Urban Rise of the 1960s. He wrote that capitalism itself was under attack by demands by black militants, and that ghetto riots have become a rallying cry for an attack upon America's system for free enterprise and individual rights. Greenspan outlined his reasoning. This is what he said, and I'll show you the memo in a second. The critical question is, of course, and shout out, somebody sent me this memo. I asked somebody, I said, can somebody find the memo for me? I asked this like a year ago, and somebody sent it and found it for me. I can't remember, but love you. The critical question is, of course, whether the Negroes are correct in claiming that they have been exploited and that their violent reaction is the rational response. There can be little doubt that discrimination has been rampant. However, this is a however that you want to pay attention to.
I want to before she goes into that, I want to talk about the exploitation of black folks. You understand what I mean? It's still happening to this day. To this day. It's still happening to this day. And we think that we're so much better. We're not doing as bad in the incarceration rates. All you got to do is get a job, black man. All you have to do is get a business, black woman. All you got to do is go to school, black woman and black man. That's all you got to do. Meanwhile, how much is school? Oh, okay. How much is the business loans, and can you even get them? Oh, okay. But guess who was thriving in around 1965 to 1970s? I'm going to let her explain.
Ever the charge of exploitation in the sense of value being extracted from the Negroes without their consent for profit of the whites is clearly false. The distinction between discrimination and exploitation is all the difference in the world. They make up stuff. They just make up anything. The distinction between discrimination and exploitation is all the difference in the world. As if you are not exploited by being discriminated against, as if your labor is worthless or worth less. They will make up something, though, to avoid justice, let me tell you.
Moving the goalposts.
Justice makes them itch. In other words, and this is what Greenspan was telling Nixon in that memo. In other words, because whites had not profited directly from black misery, but they had. I'm pushing that aside. Reparations should be rejected. Moreover, he underscored in the memo that any capitulation to demands for federal spending in the ghetto was a threat to free enterprise.
Do you understand what she just said? I'm going to play it back again.
Directly from black misery, but they had. I'm pushing that aside. Reparations should be rejected. Moreover, he underscored in the memo that any capitulation to demands for federal spending in the ghetto was a threat to free enterprise. Hold on.
It was a threat to free enterprise.
Halfway across the world. Rebuild communities halfway across the world. But what you ain't gonna do, and what you bet not do, is do nothing for the Negro, because that's a threat to free enterprise everywhere. What you ain't gonna do is make the Negro whole after multi-generational oppression, because that is a threat to free enterprise. What damning ignorance, and just the come on. Listen, fam, we know it's ridiculous. You ain't gotta say it. Greenspan believed that the cries of exploitation were misguided because black activists had misunderstood capitalism and the natural market of the ghetto and had erroneously and unfairly blamed whites for exploitation. He was correct when he said profit rates in slum areas are doubtless distressingly low, considering the risk. But he erred when he concluded, based on that observation, that the white community was not gaining any advantage in profit and that therefore cries of injustice were erroneous. It's all the benefit in the world. What are we talking about?
It doesn't matter. Apathetic.
I'm trying to figure out what we're talking about.
Just apathy in sense. Just apathetic. It don't matter.
Let me just go ahead for
it's not that big of a deal.
This is the actual memo. This wasn't. See, understand the Powell memo. The Supreme Court, the guy who was appointed to the Supreme Court by Nixon, the Powell memo came out in '71, which Sirota talked about.
This came after the whole welfare shit. It's like they talk about the aspect of how good we were doing in the 60s, but we didn't even have civil rights, right? So black people were fighting for those civil rights. We get to the civil rights, 1965, 68, 67, all of that, right? Now we're in the 1970s. They realize, okay, black people have civil rights. How can we exploit them? How can we disparage them? Through the fake black capitalists that's in those neighborhoods. You don't need reparations, black man. All you need is a good job and your own business. You don't need reparations, black woman. You can do bad by yourself. You barely need a man. You're a strong, independent black woman, and we believe in you. It's a farce that you think that you need us. You don't really need us. You don't need white zaddy. You don't need us.
This memo was written in 67. Isn't that date on there? I can't have, see, y'all know. Line is the back. Yeah, September 26, 1967. Now, you got to understand, in the midst, somebody give me the exact date of King's assassination.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's probably around the same time, right?
This was 1967. Somebody get me the exact date of King's assassination. Day, month, and year.
Let me see.
I just want you to get it for me because I want y'all to show y'all. These people were never thinking about the right way to, the right thing to do on our behalf. That was never part of the conversation. 4468. The man wasn't.
Yeah.
4468.
That's the day he was. I'm about to look it up.
April 4th, 1968.
April 4th.
I want you to look at this. This draft was in September 15th. Is that what it said? September. Oh, I'm sorry. 26, 1967. Dang, I can't see. I need this. I need new eyes. 1967.
Yeah, 67. Yeah, 67. It's 67.
Yeah, 1967. Like, understand, they're already, while we're talking, they're planning on what they're not going to do for us. While the man is not dead. And they aren't talking about, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is what we have to do. This is what the Negroes are owed. They're telling you what they're not going to do. Do you understand who we're dealing with?
I think we still don't.
What we're up against? Do you understand?
I don't think that we still don't. Because, again, it goes back to the whole BGS talking about, how black women are solely the problem. And then Media Man talking about how these, incels that's in his comments, I guess, or black doomerisms that's in his comments, getting mad at them and then pointing back to incarceration rates, what he at first didn't give a fuck about. You know what I mean? He didn't really care about the incarceration rates with the black men, or he doesn't care about the current incarceration rates. He believes that we're doing so much better than we was back in the day. And it's like that's neither here nor there. The
level that they will connive. Do you understand what they will do while we're fighting, while we're dying, while it's plain that we're being exploited? Like, it could be. It's easy to see. Like, we don't even have any kind of legal basis to go in and do nothing, right? Like, you're talking about why that cannot happen. And so when we talk about, and for those of you all who want to, the memo is about 3 pages long. I'm not going to bore everybody to death, but this gives us some of what was a little bit of the summary of kind of what was said. And this is one of the quotes. He rejected, and we're talking about Greenspan, the notion that the Negro ghetto must be elevated to the level of affluence of middle-class America. This can only be done by massive government expenditure.
Yeah, they already knew. They already knew what it was. And that's why they was like, because they know if it's going to be massive government, it's going to take away from the government that's helping them.
He said, listen, we cannot prioritize making Negroes equal. Their lot is their lot, because if we try to make them equal or affluent, if we try to make them make them have access to the point to where they can have what white folks have, it's gonna be too much money. So we gotta figure out a way to do this. But
what are they doing still to this day? As much as we see now it's not just us asking for money. Guess who else is asking for money? White people. White people are also asking for money. Okay. I just remember seeing a video about this white woman, this white single mother, right? Asking Joel Osteen's church. It was viral. It went viral recently, just today, actually. And there's like a lot of people saying, fuck Joel Osteen, the pastor, because people are calling his church. And I guess she went viral that they was like put her on a day to week list of her being able to have baby food for her baby. It's a white woman. You remember that whole flood situation? I was like, all right, clearly they don't fuck with black people, right? But when it starts affecting white people, things start to shift. Things start to fucking move. Things start to get a little bit a little risky, even frisky, I guess. You know what I mean? But I mean,
we cannot.
It's like, it's weird when it comes to this conversation, because it's like, again, they're doing this now to this day, right? And now you have white people asking the government for money. So we're going against the government for our due justice for some shit that happened way before this shit. But the apathy of white people has come back to bite them in the ass, because the government realized, if we could do this to one specific group of people, well, why the fuck not? Why wouldn't we do it to everybody else? It clearly works. They're all human beings. But nobody's seen the fucking play, or they seen the play, but they didn't care about the play until the play started affecting them and their pockets and their families and their women. You understand what I mean? So now it's going to be even more of an uphill battle when it comes to us asking for reparations within America, specifically Black Americans asking for reparations within America. Because guess who else we're going to be fighting against? Poor people, poor white folks. Because they're going to be like, well, I'm poor just like you. Nigga, we've been poor for the last 400 plus years. Get the fuck out my face. Get in line, bucko. Get in fucking line, dog. Like, I just don't understand this shit.
In a way,
I don't understand white people that don't understand that shit.
Really intervening. That Carnell report, throw it away. We're going to do something different. You got to figure out something different. And that something different, that master plan for Nixon was black capitalism. Justice Powell had a whole thing he sketched out. Right? They always plot. That's the thing that people don't understand. They always plot. People, I don't really do politics. Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about you.
And some of these folks that I'm talking about, I don't know if they refer to politics themselves. I don't think that some of them do politics. I'm not gonna hold you. It's probably some people that follow me that don't do politics. You know what I mean? And I'm just gonna be honest with you. It's not right, but I understand. You know what I mean? It's not right, but again, I understand. But do know, when you don't choose, even your non-choice is a choice. Clearly, we talking about white people's apathy. Even no choice and to make a decision, whether it be good or bad. Yeah, you may not be racist, but you also didn't do anything specifically to protect black people that were around you, your black citizens in your community. So even no choice is still a choice. Apathy is still a choice. You know what I mean? It's not right, but I understand. Because to do something, you gotta use energy. You gotta get uncomfortable. You gotta use an exorbitant amount of government resources specifically for a specific group of people, for a specific group amount of time. It's nasty work, but it is what it is.
You cannot do whatever you don't want to do. I can't make you. I can't beat you. But I don't envy the rich, and I don't pity the poor. You mutt. Like, this is not about envy. These people are behind closed doors deciding that you are going to stay in the ghetto because it's too expensive to give you the opportunity to really bring you out of the ghetto. Because that would mean remaking and refashioning America. And nobody's doing that. And that would be dangerous to free market enterprise. That's what they're doing to you, your kids, your grandkids, and you're telling me that you don't really do politics. You don't really do priority. You don't really do none of what I'm talking about. Here we go. So you got to think. Right before that, Nixon gets elected. Like 68 or whatever. Right before that. And you got to think about, I have this paragraph. You got to think about what he said.
Bridges to human dignity, the concept.
He promised in that speech, that's one of his speeches. He promised, he said, you know what? He said, you don't really need this stuff that people are talking about. Like, you don't really need all of this. You don't need these politics. You don't need redistribution. You don't need any of that. What you need is to vote like Homer Pitt's whole world depended on it.
Just read that passage. Just read that passage. I'm going to leave it on this and just read that passage.
He'll get his degree, then what? Laborer, factory job, or own his own business. A vote for Richard Nixon for president is a vote for a man who wants Homer to have the chance to own his own business. Richard Nixon believes strongly in black capitalism because black capitalism is black power in the best sense of the word. It's the road that leads to black economic influence and black pride. See why I don't like black pride?
Black excellence. Both of those words. Both of those. It's a play. It's always been a play. So when you hear people that say those terms, even if they are black, you gotta look side eyes on their ass. Because it's like, and then especially if they don't invest in any type of political conversation, political ideation. I mean, please, it could be political, like gender politics. It could be identity politics, but I'm talking about politics, like judicial system policies that can be implemented in laws. Not no fucking gender wars, not no fucking identity fucking diaspora wars. We could talk about that in a separate conversation, but we need to talk about this shit, bruh. And the play that's always been ran on black people, which is, let's talk about gender politics. Let's talk about the gender war. Oh, well, you're not talking about the gender war. Let's talk about the diaspora war. You know what I mean? I get that both of those things play a part in this conversation, but we must stay focused, my brothers. We must stay focused. You don't find that suspicious? That every time we swerve off the side of the road and crash into each other over dumb shit, over stupid shit, bruh.
All that stuff, miss me with that. It's the key to the black man's fight for equality, for a piece of the action. And that's what the free enterprise system is all about. This time, Nixon. Do y'all understand?
It's
y'all
Nixon. Nixon, dog.
Do y'all see what they was
of all
up?
people?
Now, here's the thing. Sounded real good, don't it? Vote for this handsome young man and his books he got. He going to college. He don't going to be no factory worker. He not going so done with the time. You weren't even supposed to look down at a factory job. You don't want no factory job, do you?
Meanwhile, guess who also looks down on factory jobs? You see what I mean? Like, there's a lot of black men that is going back into the blue collar field, right? They're losing their white collar jobs and being like, shit, fuck it. We just gonna have to do what we got to do. Get out the mud. But guess who's embarrassed to have a man that works at a blue collar job? You understand what I mean? And it goes into the conversation. But what should we be focused on? Again, it's not right, but I understand. We must stay focused, my brothers. We must stay focused, dog. Yes, I get it. There's a lot of black women that's moving on some bullet bag type of time. I get it. But if she ain't on your program, it is what it is. Keep focused. Stay true to your dream and what you want in a woman. And get to this politics shit, bruh. Not the whole getting mad at the Democrats and the Republicans. What's going to fix what you want in America, right? When it's specifically talking about black families, is a reparations agenda. Specifically, if you're a black American. You know what I mean? You want that. You want the conversations of that. You want to discuss that. That's why I be promoting Yvette Carnell's page, Tone Talks page. I'm going to link them all in the section, comment section. But also Ermi Friendprong's page. I'm going to let her finish.
You want to have your own business, don't you? Well, vote Nixon. Now, here's the thing, though. There is no black business in terms of ADOS business without ADOS capital. Now, there was never investment from Nixon, right? There was never any real investment in terms of starting businesses. There was only the optics of it. There was only the optics of it to make you believe in capitalism, right? We're not going to undo the structures that have been grounding you to dust for generations, but we're going to change the optics of it. And don't you like to feel good? And don't you like to look good? And don't you like to wear a nice sweater vest and a cardigan with some books and look like you headed somewhere when you ain't headed nowhere?
You ain't nowhere. Ain't headed nowhere. I'm gonna leave it at that. Ain't headed nowhere, and we still ain't headed nowhere, bruh. Like I said before, you can have the medium mans. You can have the Kevin Samuels. You see what I mean? You see what I'm getting at? You can have the men that look well put together. You understand what I mean? Got the whole ensemble and everything. And still ain't heading nowhere but to YouTube. Still ain't really making no changes in the resources aspect other than the media. That's just one sector of what we need to be doing. Just one. And we barely got a grasp on that because they still infighting within the media. You understand what I mean? It's just like a lot of shit that's on my head. I wanted to make this video, and this is where I'm at with it. I think that we should be focused on black politics, specifically dealing with black reparations for black people, especially if you're a black man or a black woman that want black families to succeed. Because I think that to get black love, success out of black love, you got to first put down your fucking fights, to the infighting that we have, and we got to talk about shit like this. Because I think that the whole conversations, the infighting in the black gender war is basically, it's not saying that it's not necessary. It's needed to have a conversation with each other, but I think we veer so much off the road that we damn near hit innocent bystanders, for lack of better words. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that I just think that we got to stay focused on the aspect of what the mission is. I mean, stay focused on the assignment, understanding the assignment, and the assignment has never changed. Reparations, dog. And like that, we gone. Bun K.